off the filters. Their preferences in women are not your responsibility. The world is going to let you down 100% of the time. If you can make time to scroll on TikTok, you can make time to do your self-care. You can't expect to be confident every time you see your body is a jump scare. Hi everyone, Symone Landry here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing how to be confident as a dark-skinned black woman especially, but this video can be for anybody who's looking to build their confidence. So just sit back, relax. I know it's kind of a longer video, but I promise by the end of this video you will leave feeling better about yourself, having better self-esteem, and just be willing to take on the world. Sit back, relax, grab you a snack and maybe a notebook to kind of write down some of the things that I'm saying. Hopefully this video will help you to build yourself on your confidence journey and just help you to be a better version of yourself that you never thought was imaginable. And this is also coming from somebody who used to hate every feature on their body to now being a show-stopping model in the Houston area. So I think I'm pretty qualified to tell you guys how to be more confident. And so I have my little tablet here with like all my tips and everything written down. So if I'm looking down and like checking this, that's why. Also, you may have saw it in the intro, but that's why I have this tablet here. And I'm gonna try to do that thing where like the video is split into different sections on the playback thing so that you guys can go to different sections and come back to the video. And if you know you need to look at one specific section, you can come back to that. Or if you know you need help in just one area, then you can just skip to that section. And this video is a safe space. I want you to come as you are and just take the tips as you need them and slowly implement them into your life, and hopefully you will just become better. Confidence is not going to happen in a day, just like with a lot of things. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take weeks, if not months, to build this. And realize if you are not where you want to be in terms of confidence and self-esteem, you will get there. Just follow what I say in this video and just apply it into your daily life, and you will get there eventually, I promise you. First section is going to be for daily practices, just things that you can do in your daily life to build your self-esteem and build your confidence. So the first thing I would have to say is to watch what you're consuming, because actually a lot of foods can trigger anxiety, and that anxiety can make you overthink your appearance, overthink your situation, overthink everything in your life. The foods that can trigger this are coffee, alcohol, and sugary food. And girl, I know I'm a sweet tooth, so like it was kind of hard for me to hear that. Like I love me some cookies, I love some desserts, I love brownies and that type of thing. But you know, it's gonna cause you anxiety, especially as somebody who used to deal with anxiety a lot. I can't be eating these foods that are going to trigger something that have already been delivered from. Sorry if the camera's angled just a little bit weirdly because I have to adjust it. But the second daily practice I'm going to say is to not have negative self-talk. And that is so important because I used to be the person that would be like, oh, I'm so dumb, or my skin is so ugly, or my nose is too big, or my lips are too big, oh, I'm so big and bulky, I'm in the way, I take up so much space, I'm so much taller than everybody. That's what I used to say in my head all the time. That is really so destructive to your psyche and like how your self-confidence in your brain, because you're constantly feeding your brain thoughts of, oh, I'm not good enough, oh, I'm not beautiful. Talk to yourself in a positive way. Even if you don't believe it yet, talk to yourself and be like, I'm so beautiful, I have such beautiful features, I love the way that God arranged the features on my face to look like this, I love that I'm different, I love that I have this work ethic. When you start talking in that way and you start talking positively about yourself, you're going to start to believe that, even if you don't believe it. I know it sounds crazy. My next tip is to try an activity where you're actively seeing your body. So this can be modeling, dancing, and even pageantry, just any activity where you are constantly seeing your body, because how are you going to be comfortable in your body if you're never seeing it in its natural state? For me, when I was actively dancing on my dance team, we had a mirror in our studio, so I was constantly seeing my body, and I got super duper comfortable with how my body looked and how it moved and everything, and I feel like that was so pertinent to my self-confidence. And you can't expect to be confident every time you see your body is a jump scare, because you're not used to seeing it. Like even taking more pictures of yourself can help. My next tip is to practice self-care at least 2 or 3 times a week. Do something that is going to be good for your mind, body, and soul. So this can be journaling, this can be a face mask. This can be a massage. It can be anything, just anything to kind of pamper yourself or just give yourself time with yourself. Often in our busy lives, we just make the excuse of not doing self-care, like, oh, I'm too busy, or I can't do self-care. You can make time. If you can make time to scroll on TikTok, you can make time to watch the latest Netflix movies and shows, you can make time to do your self-care. Read your Bible as well, because the Bible has so many beautiful things for confidence as well. You show love to your mind, body, and spirit, you'll be able to really appreciate it more. And confidence is not just on the superficial level, on just your body. It's a mind, body, spirit, whole being thing. So when you practice self-care in all these different areas, you'll begin to appreciate every facet of your body and be more confident as a whole. I know it's going to be hard to hear this next tip for a lot of us, especially the girlies who like to rock lace fronts and stuff like that, because it really just smooths everything out. But take off the filters, period. Because how are you going to be confident in your face and the natural features that God has given you if you're constantly covering it with the filter? You guys may have notices, or you may not have notices, or you may have notices and you just ignore it and try to be like, ignorance is bliss. But filters, they make your nose smaller, they make your lips bigger. So if you have smaller lips and you're insecure about that, they make your lips bigger. So it makes your face smaller, like it makes you have a more angled jaw. Also will make your eyes lighter, and it completely alters what your face naturally looks like. And also another thing, with these filters, we all end up looking the same because of these filters doing the same thing to everybody's face. So how are you going to be beautiful and individual and confident and unique if you're using these filters? You're looking like every other girl. And I broke my front camera, and I feel like that was probably the best thing that happened to me, because filters that usually don't work, or they'll be very faint or just messed up, so I just stopped using filters altogether. I wasn't even a filter girly, because like I stopped in like middle school. Like I would still use a filter every now and then, and like when that stopped, I was like, ooh girl, you are so beautiful, and you were hiding your face for what? And also make sure your front camera is not the only camera that you're using, because the front camera completely distorts what you look like as well. Even if you take off the filters, you're still not your true authentic face, you know, with using that front camera. So make sure you're using your back camera sometimes. Take some 0.5s, take some different, you know, types of pictures. You don't rely on the front camera for every single picture that you take, because that's not a true depiction of what your face really looks like. And I know y'all seen that thing on TikTok, when you place your phone back and you zoom in, that's what your face really looks like. And you'll be surprised at your features. You'll realize, oh girl, my features are really not that funky looking. It's just that front camera has been distorting me for so long, and I've been seeing that over and over, and now it's ingrained in my head and that's what I look like, when that's not even what you really look like. I saw this on Instagram a long time ago, but I thought I would bring it into this video. But because our eyes are in our heads, we only get to see ourselves truly through mirrors and pictures. So if half the time your pictures are distorted because you're using the front camera or using like Facetune and body apps to edit your pictures and stuff like that to make you look slimmer or bigger or thicker or whatever you're doing into your pictures, that's going to distort your self-image and what you really look like. So how are you going to be confident if you don't know what you really look like? It's going to be a jump scare every time you get in the mirror, like, ooh, that's what I look like for real? And then also, that's also going to be bad for you, girl, because whenever you post those pictures on social media, super heavily edited and all these filters and stuff like that, when people see you in real life, they're gonna be like, ooh, that's not what you look like. I'm not trying to put any shame in anybody's game. You know, do what you want to do, but I'm saying the best thing for you if you're on your confidence journey is going to be to get rid of filters, get rid of Facetune apps. And if you're only getting validation on the things where you are augmented, where you're using a filter, where you're using Facetune and all these different apps to edit your pictures, then what is that saying about the people who are validating you? I'm gonna just leave that one as a food for thought and move on to the next tip, but just start to think about that, you know? Okay, on to the next section for this video. It's going to be Jesus heals all, because Jesus really does heal all. And I start to get emotional every single time that I talk about God and Jesus and the way they've moved in my life, because I have had mental health battles, I've had self-confidence battles, I've had so many different battles in my life. Times where I didn't get what I wanted and I felt inadequate because of it, and God delivered me from all of that. So when I talk about God, I'm so serious. Like, my first thing I'm going to say is, when you realize how much time and effort that God took in making you, you are going to appreciate your body, mind, and spirit, your whole being, so much more. God really took his time placing every single hair on your head, every single coil on your scalp. every single eyelash, every single feature on your face, how big and luscious your lips are, how big and bulbous and beautiful and bold and there in your face that your nose is. I apologize again, the camera angle is different, but like I was saying, how dark and beautiful your skin is and how it reflects the light. Like, God really took his time with making you. When you realize that, when you appreciate that, you're going to be so much more confident in yourself. And I believe in Proverbs 31:10, it says that women are worth far more than rubies. So like, God values you so much and he loves you so much, and when you just accept him into your heart and you realize all these beautiful things he has to say about you and how much he loves you, you're going to feel so much more confident about your whole being. The last thing I'm going to say in this segment is to let go of seeking validation from the world. The world is going to let you down 100% of the time. I'm going to tell you that right now. When you want love, when you want validation, when you want that promotion, man is going to fail you every single time. The only one who's going to be consistent with you your whole life through everything you're going to go through is God and Jesus. So I'm saying, just let go of that need of validation from the world, that need for this many likes on my posts, this many shares on my reel. And I struggle with that one a little bit myself, because sometimes, like especially as a model, I'm like, why didn't this post get this many likes? Why didn't this video get that many shares? You know, why didn't this perform as well as I thought it was? You know, but when you find that peace and that contentment with God, you're going to be happy for just 10 views, for just 10 likes. You think about it, 100 likes, if 100 people stood in this room and told me that they liked my post, I would feel so much love and energy. The next section I have is called Individuality. Just knowing how to be an individual and not having to succumb to the stereotypes of being a dark-skinned Black woman. Society often will place us in this box where we are ugly, we're ratchet, we're loud, we're not hardworking, all this different stuff. And if we want to break out of that mold, we have to be so hardworking. We have to be the prettiest girl commercially. You know what I mean, like commercially beautiful. Have our hair done, nails done, lashes done, everything done, be dressed the best, just be that it girl in order to break out of that stereotype. And I'm like, that's cool and everything, but not everybody wants to look like a Black Barbie. You know, we shouldn't have to look like a Black Barbie to be accepted. But I'm like looking at my light-skinned Black girl counterparts, they can roll up looking any type of way and still be considered acceptable and palatable. But if I roll up to an event or something looking any less than perfect or any less than top tier, you know, everything done, best outfit, you know, then I'm automatically, ooh, she don't care about herself, she ugly, she ratchet, she's lazy, you know? Just know that you do not have to be this Black Barbie to feel beautiful. Your self-worth should not come from what other people think of you. And that goes into my next point, which is to find your true style and what makes you feel comfortable and stylish in. When you find your true style, when you find the clothes that make you feel the most confident, you're going to just radiate that. You're going to feel like, ooh, I'm that girl when you're in that outfit, you know? And that's going to just change the whole way that you walk about this world. And now I'm going to talk about something that doesn't really have a section, but just know that you do not need validation from men. Their preferences in women are not your responsibility. Because often, especially Black men, they'll want to go after light-skinned Black women because they have this internalized self-hatred of, ooh, I always view myself as ugly because I was dark-skinned. I had these wide features on my face that I hated, so I don't want my future child to have those same features as me because I know I had that self-hatred. I don't want them to have that, and also I just don't want to continue the generations of looking like me because I hated myself. As much as they don't want to admit it, that's what their mindset is. However, you are not responsible for their self-hatred. It can even go into height too, because there's been so many guys that would go after these girls that look like literal children. You know, they're really short. I'm not knocking anybody who's short here. Like, girl, I love you. You know, I love that you're short. I love you. But it's harder for taller, dark-skinned Black women to find somebody who would like them for them. A lot of men, but especially dark-skinned Black men in general, will view us as ugly and will view us as looking manly, even though there's no gender assigned to any feature. Because having big, beautiful, dominant features is not manly. And those preferences stem back to slavery, because back in the day, you know, you would want a lighter child in hopes that they would have a better future because, you know, lighter is better and everything, but we're past slavery. So there's no excuse for that. But anyways, just don't let their preferences be your responsibility. Go where you're loved, go where you're appreciated. Find somebody who likes dark-skinned black women and it's not just a fetish. Ooh, this is a good quote that I saw. Don't let their ignorance make you feel inadequate. The next section I have is called comparison, because this is a huge one. First thing I'm going to say is that we were never meant to see more than maybe like 50 people in our lifetime. Like before cell phones, before all this interconnectedness of the world, we were not meant to see this many people. You were not meant to see all these Instagram baddies, all these BBL. You weren't meant to see all these commercially attractive people. You were meant to see the people that you lived around. And I feel like that's a big problem in confidence in general, because we're constantly scrolling on our phones, seeing all these beautiful, commercially beautiful, because you're beautiful regardless. But you know, commercially beautiful people, oh, I don't look like them, oh, I don't look like them, but they have all these likes and all these followers, but I don't look like them, so maybe I am not beautiful. So I would even recommend doing a social media cleanse. The next thing I want to talk about is how black girls will often see themselves as, oh, they have black girls and they have black girls and I'm black girls. And I feel like that is so bogus, because the only difference between a black girl and a black girl is that this girl took the time to work on her self-confidence, so that when she walks around the world, when she posts these pictures, you really feel that aura projecting off of her, because she took that time to work on her self-confidence. And I'm telling you, every single black girl can have the same effect as this girl if you're willing to work on your self-confidence. The next thing I'm going to say, which I probably could have said earlier in this video, but unfollow every single account that does not look like you. You need to fill your feed with people who look exactly like you. Because believe it or not, if you're constantly following people and commenting and liking under all these people's posts who do not look like you and have all this interaction with these posts and have all these likes and comments and subscribers and followers or whatever, you're going to internalize that. You're going to be like, ooh, you know, she's really beautiful, but I'll never look like her. Literally unfollow everybody who you've looked at and been like, oh, I'll never look like her, oh, she's way prettier than me. Unfollow them, because you're not doing yourself a service. And also, take this personal. It might mean you have to unfollow people you've been following for a long time. It may mean you have to unfollow some of your friends. The next section I have is called It's All in Your Mind, because 9 times out of 10, your confidence and your self-esteem is literally all in your mind. And once you realize this, it can literally take your confidence from not confident to confident in a day. The first thing I'm going to say, which has kind of been a common thread to this, but like, just stop comparing yourself to other people's features that you don't have. Like for me, I used to always look on Instagram and TikTok and all that and see all these black girls and white girls and just any other race with skinny, petite noses. And I used to get so insecure, because I know I had a big nose that even got bigger as I smile. Like you can see, you know, it gets bigger when I smile. And I used to be so insecure about that. And literally, because everybody around me had a skinny, petite nose, you know, even all the black girls, there was literally no black girls around me with the similar nose like mine that was wide and bulbous and beautiful. And now it's my favorite feature on my face now. But back in the day, especially in middle school, when like from 2016, 2018, y'all know team dark skin versus team light skin and all that, you know, dark skin's ugly, all this different stuff. Like that was like probably the worst era of my confidence, but it made me feel so inadequate because I didn't have a certain feature. But then I realized how beautifully my nose fit with my face, and I literally did this filter one day that made your nose smaller, and I was like, this nose literally does not fit my face. If I had any other nose, it would not fit my face. I have big lips, kind of bigger eyes-ish. So if I had small nose, it would look so awkward on my face. So I love my nose now because it fits my face. It makes my lips look balanced, and it's just a beautiful part of my face. And this was also before I got closer with God, because when I realized that God didn't make any mistakes, when I realized that God really took his time and really painted every feature on my face, then I was like, girl, there's nothing to worry about. I'm beautiful. Next thing I'm going to say is that you are often your own worst critic. I promise you, nobody's looking at those stretch marks. Nobody's looking at the little bitty pudge you have over your brow. Nobody's looking at any of your insecurities that you have. Like, nobody's looking that hard. If they are looking that hard, you should know something. They probably interested in you, girl. Nobody's looking that hard on these things that you're trying to magnify every night looking in the mirror. Like, you might think it's the biggest thing in the world, but it's really not. Everybody has stretch marks. I used to be insecure because when I went through puberty, I got stretch marks all on the front of my thighs and all over my butt on the sides. And I was so insecure about them because I was like, I saw all these girls on Instagram who probably edit their photos, and I saw that they didn't have any stretch marks, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not a natural thing that everybody gets. Like, I wish I never had them, all this different stuff. And it's like, girl, how did you expect to go from a little bitty baby to this big, tall, Amazonian type girl without stretch marks? To get into the body that I have now from a baby with no stretch marks? Like, girl, come on, let's put 2 and 2. But stretch marks are literally so beautiful, and they're like a sign of growth. And when you see that and you realize how gorgeous and beautiful they are, and that literally everybody has them, it's just some people are better at hiding them than others. Some people edit their photos to put makeup over them, you know. Everybody has some type of stretch marks on their body from puberty or pregnancy and things like that. Okay, this is a good one. So no matter what you do, there will always be somebody who is unhappy with their mind, body, or spirit, who's gonna try to demean you and make you feel like you are not enough because they're unhappy with themselves. There's always gonna be somebody trying to put these negative thoughts and negative energy into your mind. But what you do with those words and how much power you let those words have is going to either improve or decrease your confidence. And I recommend getting closer with God because He freed me from that. He freed me from needing validation from anybody in this world. The next section is called situation, because oftentimes you are so gorgeous, you're just in the wrong location or situation. Number one, this can be your family, because oftentimes family can be the most altering person on your confidence. You're with these people in your immediate family from the time you're born to the time you get old enough to move out, and what they're feeding you over that time is going to be internalized in your body until you let yourself be free of it. If you're a dark-skinned Black woman and your family's constantly telling you, oh, your skin is too dark, you might want to bleach your skin. Oh, you have a big nose like your daddy. Oh, you're so tall, you look like a boy. Your features, you look like a man. Like, I mean, it's not much you can do, because most likely you're living with your immediate family until you graduate and go off to college. Or if you're in that situation where your family is just constantly telling you you're not good enough, you're not beautiful, just know that there's lies that are internalized, probably from slavery. And that when you get old enough to move out, you will be in a whole different situation. And even for me, since I've graduated, I've noticed such a shift in the way people treat me. Like, the people who went to my school, I've noticed such a shift in the way they're liking my posts, they're commenting under my posts, they're sharing my posts, and all this different stuff. So it's like they know how beautiful I was, but it's like they didn't want to say anything because they felt they would get persecuted from their friends. And they may have been interested in me at some point, but because they've been in this toxic high school culture where tall, dark-skinned Black women are ugly or manly, or, oh man, we go for the short, light-skinned girls and all that different stuff, then they probably were too scared to reach out. Situation is definitely everything. And I promise you, as you get older, it's going to be so much easier to love and appreciate yourself when you're not in that toxic high school culture. For all my girlies in high school, just literally hold on. Literally, my DMs are flooded right now.
This boy be in my DM say I'm pretty. This boy be in my DM say I'm pretty. I wonder if he knows. I've been through that.
Not saying that you should let like how much people are interested in you, or like romantic encounters, be your validation and like count toward your confidence. But you know, it is nice. Also, there are different beauty standards for different areas as well. So I live in the South, so yeah, I live in Texas. So the beauty standard here is way different than probably the North, like New York, or even like in different countries too. Like if I were to go to like African country or just any other country period, I would be so much more loved. Like literally, I've seen all these TikToks of Black girls going to different countries in Asia and Latin America and all this different stuff, and they're like, ooh, she's so beautiful. I've never seen a Black woman before. She's so gorgeous. I'm gonna take a picture with you. Like, they literally love us in different countries. In the US, unfortunately, because of slavery, because of everything that's happened in the history and everything that's been internalized by society in general, we are seen as ugly. Situation and location are everything, and I promise you, things could be better if you just change your environment. My last section I'm going to talk about is culture, because when you know about your culture, when you know about Ooh, sorry guys, it was a wasp in my window. You know where you come from, when you know your history, you're gonna be so empowered by that. You're gonna be so proud to be a dark black woman and having those features that are so closely related to your ancestors who did so much and were so powerful. Personally, when I learned about all the kingdoms in Africa and how powerful our people are and how smart and how far along civilization was in like ancient Africa, like I'm so proud to look like them, you know? And it just gives you that extra oomph. So just knowing your history, even if it's just American history, the last thing I'm gonna leave you with is that you are literally the blueprint. When God made humans, he made the first humans black. Every other race is literally a mutation. When you realize that God really chose us to be the first ones out here, yeah, that he did. And you should feel confident, you should feel empowered by that. Like, we are literally the blueprint, and not even just in that way, just in like general with our culture. Everybody wants to be like us, everybody wants to talk like us, everybody wants to wear what we wear, do what we do. Like, we are literally the blueprint in culture and in genetics and everything. That's about all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully this helped you with your confidence journey. Make sure you come back to this video if you ever need to pick me up, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you leave your feedback by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and turning on post notifications until next video. Jesus loves you, and peace out.